It's kind of tricky. Trying to blow some smoke rings. All right. I set that puppy right there. I'm gonna play some get fiddle, get down on my get fiddle for a little bit. Do some musical venting. I just I my brain gets all full of all this weird shit. It's like all this conspiracy related type content that I watch all the time, and then all this like mainstream fucking garbage that I'm analyzing, and like trying to decode, and then I have like all this shit going on up in my head, and I have to like try to piece it together. I feel like I'm always playing connect the dots or something. It's just kind of fun, but it's just also kind of an obsession, and then it's like if I don't take like an hour or two and just fucking focus on something creative, which is my music, then I get kind of cranky or something like it. I think it's just when I start playing music and I start like venting all the weird shit out of my mouth, and I just sort of freestyle or just sort of spew forth words and put it to music. I've been doing a lot of that lately, where I'll just start playing and I'll just make shit up as I go. It's kind of like if you ever taken a creative writing classes where they make. I took a creative writing class in junior college, and one of the things we do every time we met, it was like 3 times a week. I went to the class, and first thing we do when we get to class is we had to write for, it was like 5 minutes or something, 5 or 10 minutes, without lifting our pen. We had to be writing the whole time. She'd walk around the room and make sure you were writing. If you stopped, she'd come and be like, "Okay, keep going." Actually, you weren't allowed any time to think. You had to just write, and whatever's on your mind is, you could think about whatever you want to think about. When you get it all planned out in your head before you get to class. If you want, it doesn't matter. But like, the idea is just to start writing, and like, and uh, and it would be interesting some of the stuff that I would write, because I'd be like thinking about, it was kind of hard at first, but then I just realized you just have to think about some subject, that you know a lot about, or whatever, and just start talking about it, but writing it instead, and just start thinking about something and just start writing it, and and it ends up being pretty fun because when you're pushed to like come up with content like right now, there's no like time to think about it. You can't even stop to try to choose the right word. You just have to flow. It's a fun thing to do, and you end up with stuff that you wouldn't have don't recognize as your own for some reason. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but it just comes out because when you have time to express yourself, like what you're gonna when you have time to express yourself. It looks like a creation of yours, and it's like, that's me. I remember that's how I would want to say it if I had to say it or whatever. But if you're just forced to spew it out without having any time to think about it, you'll end up with something that surprises you sometimes, and it's fun. And it's fun, and that's the bottom line. That's the whole point of my babbling right now. Is it's fun. That's it right there. That's it. It's fun. Have a nice day. Just kidding. I'm just getting going here, dude. We're just starting. We're just starting this fucking basket case show. It's just the beginning. Or you could think of it as a never-ending ending, because it never really ends, but it's always ending. It's never ending. It's always ending. It's a never-ending ending. It never really ends. It's always ending. It's been ending ever since it began. But when something ends, something else begins. So nothing really ever ends. I mean, something ends, but then something else begins. So nothing ever really ends. So nothing ever really begin. There is no limit. There is no end. All the way out and back again. It goes forever and back again. All the way out and back again. Well, and if it goes forever, then it's just all the way out. All the way? No, just there is no all the way. You can't. You can't. if it goes forever, there is no end. There is no end. All the way out and back again. But there is no limit. There is no end. There's no looking back once you begin. This is forever. There is no end. Which side of this goes on your shoulder? Like that, yeah. I've been watching Flat Earth content for so long now, and it's weird after this whole business with the like the whole thing with the 24-hour sun in Antarctica. It was kind of like a leveling off point where, like, I don't know, like, how, because the app that Dave Weiss has, it's not like what Jaron has pointed out is correct. It's not that doesn't work. His model is broken. I mean, and that's just interesting how he continues to like push that as being true, and it's really not. I mean, it doesn't represent. I don't know. It's so. I'm like stuck in like cognitive dissonance because of that. Like, because I mean, I'll still see Dave Weiss, showing his app and the way the sun goes over the Earth. And it's like, does it really go like that though? I mean, like, I don't know anymore, dude. Because it doesn't. And so it's just like this shit's been debunked, man. And so it's weird that that we got people still saying it's all cool. What's up, buddy? I mean, don't get me wrong. I still think the Earth is flat, but I think Jaronism has a really good point. And if he wasn't such a dickhead, I think he'd probably get more. Like he's just turning into such a jerk about it. It's like he should have just said, "Hey, look, the way the globe model actually is set up, the way it explains the sun is like fucking pretty perfect." And it's like, this is crazy. Like what I would have thought Jaronism, if he was a real flat earther and just a genuine, if he was just a nice guy, a decent person, he would have come back and been like, dude, this is crazy. The sun, and he would have, if everything is just given that it was all true and whatever, I don't even know what to think anymore. But if we just accepted at face value, that's what was so weird about Jaronism. Is like, I hope there's not random people watching me that have no clue what I'm talking about. But like, if so, just whatever. You got to roll with the punches to get to what's real. So Jaronism comes back from his fucking thing, and he's all like, "I'm a glober now." And like, I'm all about like numbers and like secret meanings and decoding things. And I think it was interesting that Jaronism's return, when he left Flat Earth officially, it was on December 24th, and it was 2024, and he was leaving Flat Earth because of the 24-hour sun. So there's three 24s right there, which is 3 6s, 2 4 2 4 2 4, and then that was set to be his 666th video that he was posting that day when he was going to come back and announce he was he was leaving Flat Earth, and that all lines up. It's like 666 But the thing is, what fucked that up is that I heard that it was his wife that deleted a couple of his videos. I think he asked him to delete a couple of videos from his thing. He's deleted a bunch of videos since then, but it was like, so I remember checking, and it ended up not being his. But before he got back from Antarctica, I remember there was some people that did videos about it. They were showing, it was like, look, it's 665 videos. The next video he does when he comes back and he leaves Flat Earth, because we all knew he was going to leave Flat Earth. He's all, it's going to be 660. I think it was, I don't know if he was the one that found it, but it was, that Bro Money Sanchez or whatever that guy is. Money Sanchez or something like that. He was the one that pointed it out. He's all, look, it's going to be a 666 video when he gets back. And so everyone is tripping on that. And then I was like, well, that's trippy because he's going to do his show on the 24th, and that was of 2024 because of the 24-hour sun. He was leaving Flat Earth, so there's three 6s right there, and it was going to be a 666 video. I'm like, that's kind of trippy, and I guess it's just a coincidence. It's weird, but then I also thought it was kind of a coincidence too that Austin Whitsitt, his name, you can decode his name. Austin. This is like real shit. I looked this stuff up, and I happen to know a thing or two. Austin, the name Austin, the name Austin means magnificent, but you can even break it down more, which AUS, Aus, is southern. That's what Aus means, like Australia. AUS means southern. And then Aust with a T, AUST, um, that is, that's like I think it might be a sailor, like jargon or term. It has to do with the sun, the path, the east to west path of the sun. You know, that's that's what Ost means. I think it might have to do with sailing, but it's pertaining to the path of the sun, which is east to west. That's what it said when I looked it up. Ost. So Ost means southern. Ost means the path of the sun, basically. And then, but that's not all. I mean, Austin, like I said, means magnificent. And then Whitsit, the name Whitsit, um, it's like an old like name or whatever. It's like a British name, or I think I don't know what the origin is, but Whitsit was means white side, or this is what the definition said when I looked it up. Whitsit means white side or from white slopes. So that's what his name means, from white slopes. And so you can spell you can translate Austin Whitsit's name as follows: Southern sun from magnificent white slopes. Southern sun from magnificent white slopes. Because southern Ost is with a TU. That has to do with the path of the sun. So the southern path of the sun from magnificent white slopes. His name is magnificent. That's what it means. And then white slopes is what which it means. So southern path of the sun from magnificent white slopes. That's what Austin Witz's name can be decoded as meaning. That's basically like I wasn't creative at all with that really. I just took all the words that I looked up and that's what I got. That's what I ended up with. And it's just funny that his claim to fame is going to be the southern path of the sun from magnificent white slopes. I even heard him describe Antarctica as being magnificent. I'm like, I wonder if you know that your name means magnificent. You probably should know that. And your last name means from white slopes. It's kind of weird. It's kind of a coincidence, I guess. And it's also kind of interesting that the name Duffy, if you look that up, that means the dark one. So we got Duffy, the dark one, and then Whitsit, the white side. The dark one and the white side. Yeah, and Jaron, the way he spells it, Jaran, it means a joyful cry. He's all, yay, globe. I couldn't make anything out of his name. I looked at it and it didn't seem like anything that lines up with the storyline at all. But Austin Whitsit's name really does. It's kind of almost suspicious, in my opinion. I tried to get his attention with it. Do you know your name means Southern Sun from Magnificent White Slopes? Isn't that weird? Because that's your claim to fame now. That's trippy. Your name is your fame. That's trippy, dude. How'd you do that, man? Did you know that? That's the fuck did I just now? I mean, I'm not even reaching with this one. That's what I found out when I looked up what his name means. I mean, I broke it down a little bit because I knew that Austin. That's what got me to look because I was all, he's Austin and Australia. I'm not there. I think there's some kind of commonality there. And I was like, what does that mean? I thought it meant southern. I looked it up, and sure enough, I was right. And then Ost means the path of the sun, east to west path of the sun. And so it's like, right there, I'm like, okay, wait a minute, this is weird. And then when I looked up Whitsit, it turns out from white slopes is in the fucking, that's one of the definitions of that name. I'm like, from white slopes? So the southern sun from white slopes, that's what his name means. And then magnificent is what Austin, the name means. But I was like, that's fucking weird. I didn't even have to stretch it at all to try to make it fit. It's just, that's what it was. I mean, it bears such a striking resemblance to his claim to fame that it's like, I mean, like you can basically describe his claim to fame by just using the definition of his name. I mean, is that a coincidence? I mean, am I reaching here? I don't have any audience. I don't even know why I do this. Nobody wants to hear what old Bass has to say. Oh, weird coincidental shit. I fucking coincidence. You know what coincidence means? It's short for cognitive dissonance because that's what you're experiencing when you say everything's a coincidence. Oh, it's fucking coincidence. Short for cognitive dissonance. Remember that because that's what you experience when you're saying things are a coincidence all the time. It was just a coincidence. It was just a coincidence. You took out insurance on those buildings before the planes flew in them. You took out plane hitting insurance. It was just a coincidence that the book was written before the fire burned the town down. It was just a coincidence. Whatever. That Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, is his name Barack Hussein Obama? He had to go bomb Iraq and Saddam Hussein and Osama. It's just like, are we like having fun with poetry now or some shit? Like fucking alliteration or whatever. It's kind of, gotta go bomb Iraq and get Saddam Hussein and Osama. Barack Hussein Obama, you know. Bomb Barack Hussein, bomb Iraq, Saddam Hussein Osama. I mean to say Barack Hussein Obama. Well, it's almost the same thing. Bomb Iraq, Saddam Hussein Osama. Barack Hussein Obama. It's almost the same fucking thing. It's not even that much of a stretch. And like, I don't know why nobody else even noticed that. It's like, dude, everything that's in the news is like kind of encoded in the guy's fucking name. Saddam Hussein, bombing Iraq, Barack, bombing Osama, Obama. It's just like, it's like the fucking of a drunk, you know, whatever, gutter drunk. I'm the Obama, I'd buy my own bow. I might know, bro. I don't know, bro. I'm Bobo, Obama. I buy my body, my bag, my bobo. I buy my own bobo. I'm a bow. I'm a bobo. I'm a bobo. I'm Obama. My name's Barack Obama. I'm Obama. It's not even his real name. Like, why would you fucking choose a name like that? What the fuck is really going on? Barack Hussein Obama. A weird name. Oh, oh, Obama had to drop a lot of bombs. He had to bomb Saddam. Obama had to drop a lot of bombs. He bombed Saddam. He bombed Iraq. Barack Hussein Obama had to drop a lot of bombs. He had to bomb Iraq. Barack bombed Iraq. Barack bombed Iraq to get Saddam Hussein. He's so damn insane. We'll show him who's so damn insane. Damn, Hussein's his damn middle name. Barack Hussein had to drop a lot of bombs. He had to bomb Osama. Obama had to bomb Osama. He dropped a lot of bombs. He bombed a llama on accident one time. Whoops. Barack Hussein had to drop a lot of bombs. He bombed Iraq, he bombed Saddam Hussein. Hussein's his damn middle name. He had to bomb Osama. Obama bombed Osama. Rest in peace, Osama. He had to drop a lot of bombs. It was a lot of drama. Obama, it was a bomber rama. Barack Hussein Obama had to drop a lot of bombs. Obama had to drop a lot of bombs. Bomb, he bombed your mom. He bombed Saddam, Osama. He bombed Bin Laden. Bin Laden, he was in Abbottabad. Bin Laden was in Abbottabad. Bin Laden was in Abbottabad. Abbottabad. He was in Abbottabad. We dropped his body out at sea. Don't worry about it. We disposed of it. He's just a terrorist. Those terrorists. Well, no weapons of mass destruction here. Well, there's none over here either. How awkward. What a weirdo. What the fuck? Why was he acting all goofy like that? Well, there's none over here. dude, you're like blowing things up, bro. It's like not even cool. I mean, whatever, dude. Like, don't you think that's not funny? Like, why could you make jokes like that about it? Oh, we haven't found anything yet, huh? Like, dude, don't you know any better? Can't you like plant some there? I mean, I would expect like a government that's as corrupt as ours to have like at least planted something to make it look like we weren't just totally fucking wrong, you know? I guess it's better that we were just honest about how we're so honest. I mean, they could have just at least planted some weapons of mass destruction there. I mean, who's going to say it wasn't? I mean, like we take so many liberties in so many other ways. Like it just blows me away that they drop the ball when the storyline comes. It's like now we just look like total fucking assholes, you know? Thanks. Could have at least planted some weapons of mass destruction so it looked like it was a valid fucking, endeavor. But no, it just didn't look very good in the end. I mean, it gives us our arguments as to why we shouldn't fucking vote for these people or like indulge in anything that's like like anything that's spoken from the mainstream media that's like, dude, that's all bought out and it's just a big fucking scripted fucking joke, dude. It's become like a fucking poorly written, reality show or whatever. Fucking Trump thinks he's in a GI Joe movie or something. The way he talks, thanks for your attention to this matter. It's like, shut up, dude. You're gonna blow up some boats out on the ocean, and people that like, they're not even like trying to fight with anybody. They're just like, you just go drop bombs on people in boats because you think they had drugs they were bringing here. Like nobody's forcing anyone to do drugs. I mean, that's like, it's pretty obvious. It's not terrorism, and it's kind of like an extreme way of looking at it. They bring the drugs here because people buy them willingly, maybe against their better judgment. But that's like, what do you got, a war on better judgment or something? What the fuck? Or in bad judgment? I mean, is that what you? That's now it's a terrorist if it's a bad judgment kind of thing. I don't know, man. That's you're kind of pushing the envelope there a little bit. And narco terrorism. I think that sounds more like what fucking Trump and his buddies at Pfizer did, and fucking Fauci. They traumatized the whole fucking country. Just like don't come in contact with anybody. Hide in your house. Cover your face. You know, once we get these magical concoctions from the big pharma, then we can be free again. Like this whole thing was like a basic. It was like the fucking dude. It's like the poster. I don't know. It's like the textbook definition of what narco terrorism should be considered, because they terrorized the fuck out of everybody, and and it was all for the purpose of like getting people to like willingly go get this narcotic fucking injected into them, whether against their own better judgment. So that's what I would consider narco terrorism. What Trump and Fauci and all of them fucking evil people did to everybody. Coerced and like just pressured with every fucking. It was so desperate. They tried so hard to get everybody to go get those jabs. Remember that? It was fucking weird. Like just people like me, like who were just like, what? I'm not gonna go get a jab. It was just like, what? It's like it was starting to feel like you were just being like, the pressure was immense. I mean, I didn't think for a second I was gonna cave ever, but I'm just like, this is weird, man. Weird. I even was asked at a place that I frequented prior to that. I used to go buy spray paint from there semi often. Like they knew me in there, and I went down there one day, to buy some spray paint, and they're like, we can't come in. Did you get the vaccine? I'm all the what? Oh my god! I didn't know what to say. I was so baffled by their behavior. I'm like, I ended up having them go and get the paints and bring them out and sell them to me out on the sidewalk. And I'm like thinking, this is the last time I'm coming here. This is so embarrassing. I'm so embarrassed for them because there wasn't a pandemic. It was just a bunch of paranoid people with fucking hand sanitizer and masks running around, putting stickers on the floor which way to walk and shit. It wasn't a pandemic. It was just a bunch of people fucking LARPing and acting all fucking paranoid, dude. It's not a pandemic. Dude, I mean, I don't even know if there is such a thing, but if there is, what it is when people are dying everywhere. That wasn't happening. And the hospitals were empty, I checked. So that was the one year when we were probably the most healthy. It's all reversed backwards, man. I'm telling you. There wasn't a flu that year, and it wasn't because they renamed it COVID. It was just because I went and checked. The hospitals were fucking empty the whole time. So that would tell you that nobody was sick, and the flu numbers were, it was like nothing. There was no flu that year, and my hypothesis, or my idea for that reason for that is that I think it was because nobody went and got the flu shot that year. Because I know my parents didn't go to get their flu shot that year. I remember hearing my mom and dad talk about it, and it's like, so nobody got the flu, because that's where the flu season is. It comes from. It's just from everybody going and getting these shots every year. It's gonna be a it's gonna be a bad flu this year. So come get your flu shot. It's like, if I had to figure out, like, where does the flu come from? Like, why did it disappear one year? The year when all the hospitals were empty. Why did it disappear? Oh, well, it's probably because nobody went and got their flu shot. If you want to prove me wrong, what you can do is, well, we could do some, experiments. We could just go and, like, okay, nobody get their flu shot this next year, and we'll see how the flu numbers are affected by it. That's what we would do, because I think that's what the variable was in that one. I figured it out. Like, I can do science. I'm like, well, that's weird. And all the conspiracy theorists were like, oh, it's just because they renamed it COVID. I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. And I'm like, but how come the hospitals are empty though? Explain that part. I'm like, okay, so nobody's really trying to think this one through. Let me think about this here for a second. Well, I happen to know that my parents didn't go get their flu shots that year because the doctors weren't seeing patients. So it's probably the same thing that happened to every other motherfucker around here. So nobody got the flu that year because they didn't go get the flu shots. I can put two and two together. I mean, if it's like, and that would be pretty, like, it's a pretty important little detail to notice. Like, I haven't really even heard anybody else talk about this, but it seems pretty obvious to me. And like, if people were like really cared about, like their health, or I mean, they would want to. They'd say, "Hey, Doctor Bass, you got a pretty good point. We should try that. We should. Why don't we just go a year? Next year we'll do an experiment where nobody gets a flu shot, and we'll see what the numbers are like. Oh, you won't because it's a big business. Oh well, that just proves my point even better. That just makes it seem even more true. And the fact that I lost my YouTube channels for talking about shit like this, I mean, now they've loosened up a little bit. I can talk about it now without getting deleted. But like, dude, I mean, I made some sacrifices for the world, dude. I was giving up my channels. They weren't big channels. They were like this one. But it was still dumb that they did that, because I had a bunch of other stuff on there that I liked, and I don't care about all my videos where I was complaining about COVID and telling everyone they better not get the jabs because nobody even knows what the fuck is in it. That was like the best reason I could think of. I'm like, you don't want to get this jab because nobody knows what the fuck is in it. They don't have to disclose 50% of the ingredients, so it's a fucking mystery. Everybody that's telling you it's safe, they don't even know what it is. They know, and the 50% that they did disclose are not made for human consumption. I looked it up, dude. It's not hard to find that information. The lipid nanoparticle, that wasn't made for use in humans. That's what it says when you look it up. It doesn't take that long to do the research, and it's like, don't do your own research. You're dangerous. No, it's what's dangerous is having people tell you something is safe when they don't even know what the fuck it is. And so everybody that said it was safe was lying because they didn't know what it was. So that's just, you know, I think that would hold up in court. I could be like, everybody lied. All these people lied because they said it was safe, but they didn't know what it was. So that was negligence, if anything, at best. But basically it was a lie because they couldn't know if it was safe because they didn't even know what it was. I know. I bet you they didn't even ask. But all it took was one look, and they only disclosed half the ingredients. Because of the emergency, they could be like that loose, or they can just put a 50% of anything. It could have been anything, technology or whatever, and self-assembling nanobots and fucking mind control gadgets. Who knows? I mean, it could be anything. They didn't have to disclose it. They're basically they've they've, they've given themselves enough wiggle room there where it's like, well, anything is possible. I guess. What kind of technology? Who knows what they got? It's like you better go get your jabs. I mean, they're life saving, so life saving. You know what I mean? It's like so many people were saved from those. I mean, do people believe that? That's what I wonder. I mean, I think there's some people actually believe that still. because that's not true. I mean, and so with all that information just right there on the surface, really, it doesn't have. People still want to go get shots. I mean, dude, I figured out that the flu shot causes the flu season, but nobody cares. People still go get their shots. YouTube is like, you know what, Bass? We're just gonna let you run your mouth. You can run your mouth. See, nobody even listens to you because you're crazy. You're a basket case. Nobody cares. If you think flu shots cause the flu season, you're crazy. Like, where would the flu season come from? Well, there's just things that everybody gets every year. It's called the flu shot. Oh, okay. Well, that's the first. That'll be the first candidate for like a potential cause. Where does the flu come from? Well, everybody goes and gets a flu shot every year. Oh, maybe that's where the flu comes from. Oh, yeah, that's okay. I think we might figure it out. We got a suspect. We got a lead because it has the same name, flu and flu shot. So it's got that much going for it. I think it's a pretty good lead. No, dude, it's just an attenuated virus. They have an attenuated virus to give you so it's not that dangerous, and then your body gets like accustomed to it, and yeah, they get that all figured out, right? They get that shit all. They understand all that, right? The microscopic level, little attenuated virus. They attenuate it for me, and then the microscopic little thing that can't be seen with the naked eyes. Yeah, they get in there and they manipulated that thing and made sure it was attenuated for me. No, dude, it's never a good idea to have someone stick a needle in you, especially when that person doesn't even know what they're putting in you. And so, yeah, it's never going to be a good thing. It's never going to save anybody. I mean, the chances of that ever being a good idea are so slim. And that's just pretty much, that should be understood by now. I mean, the stuff they say they have figured out is just a bunch of hooey, dude. None of it's not even real. It's like virology is such a crackpot fucking. It's just not right, dude. It's like witch doctor shit. It's not real. It's not even real, dude. And who knows what they're doing? They're doing other experiments. They're not being forthcoming with a lot of the shit they're talking about. I'm pretty sure it's all like fucking transhumanist shit at this point. But like we still have access under their skin. we're gonna we're gonna take it to the next level. We're gonna force evolution. Since it turns out evolution's a big joke and it's a lie. We're gonna try to evolve ourselves into robots, like immortal god, digital fucking whatever, dude. They just couldn't figure out the soul and life. It's like this is all so how did this get started? It must have evolved out of lifeless space debris, and so it's not that crazy. We could figure it out. We could do it. We could do this. It's not that crazy cool. I mean, it's not. It's just natural. It just happens. You just evolve out of space debris. Makes sense to me. I mean, it's probably what happened. First, the amoeba split. Then it was like there was two-celled organisms, and it just kind of went on from there. Next thing you know, you got fish growing legs and turning into monkeys and shit. Or dinosaurs, actually big lizards. It was all kinds of stuff. I mean, we were still pond scum back then. We were just wee pond scum at the time. But little did those dinosaurs know that by the time we had evolved out of the pond scum, they would be just oil for our cars, so we could drive around. See, the tables really turned. They were the kings of the earth and big dinosaurs, and we were just this wee pond scum. But look where we are now. And look where they are. Fossil fuel, baby. See, Mother Nature just always kind of works out like that. Who's a top dog now? Dinosaur. Ha! We might have been pond scum, but now look at us. A billion years later, no big deal. It could happen. So be nice to the pond scum that you know. You never know what that pond scum might do or grow into someday. Pond scum. Be nice to your pond scum. came from pond scum. How come there's still pond scum today? Is it just this thing that life sprung from this funky pond scum that smells? The pond scum has become Americans and every other country today. We all spring from pond scum, and it's been a long, steady ride as we spinning on this water ball that's wrapped around a big lava ball that's hurtling around a massive ball of fire for billions of years. It's been such a steady ride. We've managed to evolve from pond scum. But that was after the meteor came and smacked everything, wrecked everything, destroyed fucking everything, causing earthquakes and fucking ice ages and volcano ages and some fallout from volcanoes called ice age and fucking earthquakes and all kinds of massive disasters for billions of years. And then, we came along and we found all the dinosaurs' bones and put them all back together, and it was pretty cool. Easy. So easy. The greater good, the greater good is neither good nor great. All they had was bad and a bigger hate. All they had was bad and a bigger hate. Would they create? Some people will call their fate, and I guess for them it's way too late to try to turn back the tide. To try to turn back the tide away that is heading our way. The things I say that sound insane someday will come to pass. Until that day, they'll be laughing away, but we will see who's laughing last. And I know that he who laughs last, he will be laughing alone. And I know that he who laughs last, he will be laughing alone. That goes. Can't believe we could see us could see. That's awesome. Yeah. Can't believe we could see my splendor seed. Won't believe someday they will see. Something like that. Like this really heartfelt sort of thing. We're just trying to plant the seeds so that all the normies can get a clue. Hopefully someday they figure it out. Because they think we're just tripping. Like, oh, don't worry about the transhuman, thing or the fucking Don't worry about the sustainable development thing. That's just like that's conspiracy shit. You guys are crazy. It's gonna be cool. We're gonna be symbiotic with AI. It's gonna be so cool. We'll be living on the cloud. We'll be immortal. I mean, do people even want that? I'm gonna get my brain chipped as soon as I can. I'm gonna get my fucking, I want to have like telepathy. Where I can turn on my car just by thinking about it. Oh, that's gonna be so great. Got little screens. We should go around pretending we have the Neuralink already and be like, doot doot doot, like you get like a little thing that makes noise every time you go like this. Beep 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 beep. What's that noise? What are you touching? You're fucking moving shit around. Oh, nothing. Pretend you got your Neuralink already. But really, all you have is like a little remote in your pocket. Because you can start your car with a remote. You don't need to have it in your brain. Or Elon Musk showed like a chimpanzee playing Pong. He's all, look, he's playing Pong with his mind. And it showed a chimpanzee looking at the screen. He's got like a little patch where he'd been shading. You could tell where they like, did brain surgery on this poor guy. And fucking, he's staring at this TV screen where it's like it's Pong. With like the old video game. He's like, you can see the thing moving around and monkey's staring at it. He's playing Pong with his mind. Elon Musk. It's like, oh yeah, is that what? That's a good one, bro. I mean, he's like, dude, I gotta get something out there. And give me a chimpanzee, shave part of his head so make it look like we gave him an operation, Okay, sit him right there on that stool. Now, like, I need you to be playing Pong, but get out of view of the camera, Just get your joystick down there and play Pong. The monkey's gonna look at the TV, He's gonna look at it because something's moving around. So you just play Pong, and then we'll just say it's him playing the Pong with his mind. It's gonna be great. People are gonna believe it. So good. Look, so he's playing Pong with his mind. I gave him a brain implant. Dude, at the same time that thing came out, the Neuralink, when he was bragging about his brain implant and the chimpanzee playing Pong, during that same time period, there was a video game coming out, a virtual reality video game coming out, where the headset fit on your head, and there was a little box that sat on the back of your head, and it read the synapses in your mind and moved your character accordingly. Like, all you had to do was look at the game and think where you wanted to go, and like with the goggles or whatever, it's like a virtual reality game. It knew where you wanted to move based on how your brain was firing off synapses. Like that technology was being was being rolled out at the time. I don't know if it's out already or what, but I remember watching demonstrations of that. I'm like, damn, that's wild. Because there was AIs, like, it was like a virtual reality games that would like watch your eye movements, and so you look over there, and so it knows you want to go over there, and so that was worked all right. But like this thing was like it sat on the back of your head. It wasn't even watching your eye move, and there might have been that too. I don't know, but the box was to read where your brain synapses were firing up, like where you'd want to move, and so it was like it would move your character. It was like a 3D game, like a virtual reality game. Your character would move around the way you were thinking you wanted to move around in the game. It's like, all you'd need at that point is like a suit with all the sensors of like the environment on it, and like you'd be that close to being in a different, it's like that's not even that far off. That's wild, dude. That's wild. But like, so what I'm saying is like, would you rather have brain surgery and play Pong, or would you rather just put that little headset on and play this super immersive, like, 3D virtual reality game? It's like, what the fuck? I don't want to get brain surgery. I'll pass on that. Give me the other one. It looks like a more fun video game. It looks pretty realistic, and it reads your brain synapses. I mean, it's like what sounds like the better option here? I mean, it's like it just seemed like it, I'm just like Elon. It's like he's probably just lying. He's got a chimpanzee to sit there and pretend he's playing Pong and say, oh, he's playing Pong with his mind. His friend's playing it, hiding from the camera. And like, dude, like if people are that hypnotized, I mean, it's like, dude, at the same time this other technology is being rolled out. I mean, where you can like be immersed in a 3D reality game with your body's moving around based on how you're thinking and like how you want to move, like just how you would normally move your own body. This thing's reading it and it's translating it into the game. The only thing missing at that point would be like a super sensitive body suit, that's programmed to give you this sensation of whatever the game is experiencing, so you feel like you're really moving your real body. It's like at that point it'd be really pretty close to like the Matrix. I mean, it'd be, not quite, but like still. I think the Matrix they just made you kind of fall asleep. Is really what it is. You were just kind of in a yeah. I think you were just dreaming, or they had you in a state of slumber or whatever, just having dreams that seemed like reality. You would have dreams within that reality. I had a crazy lucid dream one time when I was in Mexico, and it was one night. It was like I was up late, and we didn't have any drinking water with us because you're not supposed to drink the water in Mexico. And I was just really parched. I'd been drinking beers, and I was like really thirsty, and I was so fucking thirsty, and I couldn't sleep because of it. And there was no drinking water. I went to my parents' hotel room trying to wake them up because I was going to go out to the car, because I thought we might have some in the car. I couldn't get any drinking water, and I was so fucking thirsty. I went and walked around the town. Everything was closed. I'm like, damn, I don't know what to do. I'm so thirsty. I went back into our hotel room, and I finally just caved in. I'm like, I'm just going to drink the water. I have to drink the water. There's no fucking way I can go on without water. And so I drank some water from, you're not supposed to drink the water, whatever, the tap water. And I drank some, and I passed the fuck out. I passed out hard. And I'd been up all night tossing and turning. I couldn't sleep because I was so thirsty. And I passed out fucking hard. And I went into this lucid dream that was fucking wild, man. Like, the first part of the dream, I was sitting by this campfire, and I remember feeling the warmth from the fire. I was warming my hands, and I just kind of had some awareness of like, okay, I'm by a campfire. I was just like in the moment, and I looked up and I saw this girl on the other side of the campfire. She looked like kind of like a older lady, kind of like a witch, and she had like, she kind of had like the whole witch thing. Like she might have had like a cauldron or something. I don't know. She looked like she was kind of like a witch or like a. I was in Mexico. And she might have been like a Mexican, like, but she looked kind of like a old, witch sort of. But she was all, you shouldn't have drank the water. That's what she said to me when I looked at her. I was like, and then I remembered that I had cognitive awareness that I'm dreaming. I'm like, oh, yeah, but I was all, and I didn't wake up though. And I'm like, whoa, I was like in my dream. I'm like, what do you mean I shouldn't have drank the water? I asked her, and she's all, now you're never gonna wake up. And and I'm trying to wake up, and and she's all, but don't worry. She's all, don't panic. She's all, it's okay. You're you'll eventually get things all sorted out. She's all, you're gonna keep thinking that you wake up, but then you'll realize it's just a dream, and you'll be back and dream, realize that you're still asleep, and you'll think that you wake up again, and you're just gonna go through a long chain of this. That's gonna happen to you, but like eventually, your your mind will sort of work it out to where it was similar to how it used to be, like where you're just sort of awake. You think you're awake for part of the day, and then you're asleep. She was explaining it really well. She's like, it's going to eventually sort of sort itself out. So it's going to be like you're basically the same thing that it was before, but like you shouldn't have drank the water. It fucked up everything for you. She's like, no, you're never going to wake up again, but your brain will sort through it, and it'll work out to where it's like similar to what it was before. And it was like, but it's like you're never really going to wake up. And so I was like, what in the fuck, and it kind of made sense the way she was explaining it. And I'm like, that can't be, am I dead or something, and I wake up, and I was in the hotel room, and I'm like, oh, okay, phew. And I'd be like, wow, that was crazy. My brother's still asleep. We had the same hotel room together. But then like there would be this loud car that pulls up front, honking and making all this big scene, and I'm like, what in the hell? And and then after a while there'd be people, and I realized I was dreaming again. I'm like, oh, and I wake up, and I'm still at night in my room, my brother. I'm like, okay, I'm awake. I'm awake. And but then before I knew it, I'm busy talking to somebody. Like and then I'd realize, wait, what am I doing talking to somebody? And I'd wake up again, like, oh, and I just kept having this over and over, and and it was like, what the hell? And like, finally, when I woke up one time, I'm like, okay, fuck this, and I got out of bed, and I'm like, I'm like, I'm awake. I went and splashed water in my face, and like, I'm fucking awake. And I'm like, fuck, and it's still the middle of the night, I went outside of the hotel room. I'm like, okay, fuck it, I'm awake. I can, I was telling myself I'm awake. I can feel this now. I can feel it, And I saw, and it was weird because I was walking around. Okay, I'm awake. I'm outside. It was just like it was earlier when I went out to see if I could get water in the car. And I'm like walking around, and then I noticed this little hole in the wall bar. It was open late. It hadn't been open earlier when I was walking around and looking for a place that was open so you could get something to drink. And I'm like, oh, well, there's a little bar over there. I'm like, well, since I'm awake, I might as well go down there and get a beer and fucking hang out. If there's anybody there, I could hear people in there, and I went in there. And and it was just like I've been down in Mexico for a couple of weeks, so it was kind of just a routine. I go and I get some drinks and I sit down and I have really bad Spanish, so I'm not very conversational. But I sat down next to this girl. She was like this pretty girl. And I was kind of thinking to myself, what is this pretty girl doing here at this hour? And she starts talking to me, but she didn't speak English. And so I was like, we had this language barrier. But like we were kind of working through it. And I started getting a buzz. I'm drinking, and and we've just been trying to talk. And we looked and the sun's coming up. And I'm like, oh fuck, I got to get back to my hotel. My parents are gonna wonder where I'm at. And I'm like, but I'm chumming it up with this girl. And it was kind of like it's kind of hitting it off, sort of. It was kind of weird. So I made this decision to like go hang out with her instead of go meet up with my family against my better judgment. And then like the whole thing goes on, and like I go to her house, and it's all this stuff happens, but by the at the point where like I'm like running from her husband or something, I'm caught up in all this drama. Like I realize I'm dreaming again, and so the whole thing was a dream. I'm like, oh fuck, and I woke up again in the hotel room, like, oh, all that was a dream. What the fuck? And so that's when it started getting weird. And I'd wake up and I'd live these whole fucking things. I'm telling myself I'm awake. And I was going through my whole life. I was just as if it was like reality, and like but then certain things would be wrong. I'm like, wait, how am I here in this place right now? I'm like, I'd realize that I don't remember getting here, and that there's something would be wrong with it, and then I'd wake up. And it just kept happening and happening, and at a certain point I remembered. I'm like, that's what that lady said was going to happen at the very beginning of this. She said I was never going to wake up again, and I don't think I've woken up for real once since she said that. And I was realizing, I'm like, yeah, all those times I thought I was awake, I wasn't awake. She was right. And it just kept going on. And I mean, I could go on for hours, all the weird shit, you know. And like, there was one point where I'm like sitting here at my house, and and it was weird because I was just sitting here, and I realized that I was asleep still because I'm like, I don't remember flying home. I'm still in Mexico, so I don't know why I'm sitting here at my parents' house, and I'm sitting there. And it's a beautiful day, though. I'm just kind of hanging out. It's like, whatever. I can't wake up. I was kind of depressed. And and like I'm still in my dream. And I've just given up on trying to wake up. I'm just like sort of settling into the dream finally. And and fucking this dude comes walking up just like it would be like any other day. But it's some random guy. He sits down. He's got a guitar, and he's all, "Hey man," and I was all, "Hey man, I'm dreaming. What's up? Who are you?" He's all, "Don't worry about it." And I'm like, "What?" And he has this little book like he'd been writing like poetry in or something. He's like, "Well, I wrote a song I want you to hear." And and he starts playing his song, and while he's playing, I look at his little book, and I could see that it was like when when you're in school, you have to put your name at the top of the paper and the period class you're in and the date or whatever. It was like that, but the name was Chris Isaac. And I'm like, Chris Isaac, the singer? I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you in my dream? And he's playing this song. He's all, yeah. And it turns out in my dream, he was saying I was the guy that was chasing you in the woods at night when you hooked up with my wife or whatever. I'm like, no, no. I'm like, wait, what? I was all, that was all a dream. And I was trying to explain it to him, but he wrote the song. It's like, it broke my heart. And he wrote this song. And he was singing this song. It was like the best song ever. I remember he was singing it, and I was crying in my dream. I was crying because I was scared, kind of, because I thought I'd died or something. Because I'd been trying to wake up, or I was just going around from all these different dreams. But I was crying in my dream, and I was listening to this song. I'm like, this is the most beautiful music. I'm like, I have to remember this music. Because if I ever really do wake up, I got to bring this back with me. This is the most beautiful music I've ever heard. It was so good, and the words he was choosing, the lyrics, and it was like he was explaining to me, this is the first time anyone's ever heard this song, and it was Chris Isaac, of all people. I'm not a big fan of the guy, but he was singing the song, and I was like, I'm so moved by it, and it was like about his broken heart, and about this woman, and about betrayal, and it was just like, I don't know, it was about stuff having to do with love, and it was just so well performed, and I was totally moved. And then, of course, next thing I know, I'm in some other fucking dream or whatever. But that really stood out to me, that point, because I was crying, I was feeling all emotional, I was stuck in a dream, couldn't wake up. It was really weird, and I remember what the girl had said at the beginning, and then all this other drama I'd gone through, and all these weird, crazy, abstract things that were happening, and and so, like, I kept waking up, and I was thinking the hotel room is still the middle of the night. I'm like, how is it possible that it's still the middle of the night in this hotel room? I've been through so many different things. It seemed like I've lived lifetimes, and it's still the middle of the night in this hotel room. What the fuck? Time was just expanding, and I don't know what was happening to me. I thought I had died, and eventually I was awake again, but it was morning, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's a little more believable. And then my dad comes in. He's like, "You want to come get breakfast down?" And with the owner of the hotel, he was making us breakfast, and I was like, "Sure, why not?" I'm like, Dad, I've been asleep. I'm still probably asleep. And he's all, no, you're awake. I'm like, no, I've been in this lucid dream all night long. And he's all, whoa. And I'm like, I don't even know if I'm awake right now. He's all, you're awake. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm awake. I felt awake, but I'd felt awake every other time I had woken up, and it wasn't real. So I go down there. I swear I felt like I could tell. It would just seem like the same things that had been happening to me. I was waiting for something weird to happen, basically. And we're talking to the guy that owns the hotel, and he's like, what do you guys do? And my dad's like, oh, we're both musicians. He's, oh, musicians? Yeah, we have famous musicians that come down here and stay at this hotel all the time. He's all saying which rooms they stay in. He's all, yeah, oh, in the room that you guys slept in, he was pointing at me and my brother. He's all, that's Chris Isaac's room. And I'm like, what the fuck? But the thing is, I was lucky because I had just told my dad about my dream, and I had mentioned the Chris Isaac part. And so when he said Chris Isaac's room, he pointed at the room that I was staying in. I had just talked to my dad about that like a few minutes earlier. And so my dad, his ears perked up too. He's all, whoa. And he looked at me and I was like, what the fuck? And he's all, you're not dreaming. He looked at me, he's all, you're not dreaming. It was like, dude, I swear to God, I felt like I was still dreaming. I'm like, what in the fuck, dude? I just tapped, like he tapped into my lucid dream or something, or am I still dreaming? But I think the lady was right. It just kind of everything sort of segued back into things are pretty much real again, I guess. I could still be asleep down in that hotel room, though, as far as I know. Because, like, time was stretching out for so long. I was going through so many different experiences, and it was all a big dream. And it was like it was like 3 in the morning when I finally went to sleep. So it was probably only like 3 hours that I was laying there for asleep, but I lived like lifetimes. Like I'd been through so many different adventures. A lot of it I thought was real for most of the time, then realized that at the end of it that something was not right. And I woke up again, and I woke up so many fucking times. It was just countless times, and I'm like, how is the sun still not up? And then I went to breakfast, and then the guy said Chris Isaac was in my room that I was. I'm like, dude, not him again. Mm. That's my dream story. The Chris Isaac story. I mean, that's the only explanation I can think of is that he had intense energy while he was staying in that room, and it leaked in my brain. How do you explain that? Coincidence? Cognitive dissonance? Hear the frogs? Cute. Blue Hotel. No, it was this hotel in the town Todos Santos. Oh no, it might have been Blue. Todos Santos, and that was back in 2001 when I was staying there. I went and saw the best band that during that trip at the Carnival celebration in La Paz. These guys were so awesome. They had such a huge band. I couldn't believe how many people they had on stage, and they were so tight. It was like the style that I've never heard before, and I don't think I've ever heard it since. It was like kind of like ska, but it had like a sort of a a Latin, but they had like an accordion going and fucking piano, and they had all these singers and dancers, and it was really upbeat and fun. I was dancing. It was just like the best music. It sounded so good, and it was put together. It was written really well. It wasn't just some you know half-ass band or half you know some cheap fucking some fucking bar band or garage band. No, these guys were fucking. They had some class, man. They were really fucking good. I wish I had remembered their name or something, or got a CD from them, because my dad saw them with me that night, and he's on. We still talk to each other about it. We're like, dude, that was some of the coolest music we've ever heard. We were both talking about like, dude, these guys are insane. They're just playing on the street in La Paz, and but it was like a gig. They had like a stage, but they had everybody dancing. It was so fun. It was the best. It was the best style for like party music. It was like ska kind of. It wasn't like the punk. It was super fast though, and they had like a saxophone. They had all these different musicians on stage. I couldn't believe how versatile the band was. And they had like the girl singers, backup singers. Really well put together music. It was very mature, and they were all pretty young people too. I remember just thinking like, well, how do these guys get so good, and why don't we know about them already? Why aren't they famous? I bet there'd be some way. There might be some way to figure out who that was, because we could go back to the Carnival celebration in La Paz, Mexico, for the year 2001, and find out what bands were playing there. I think it was on a Saturday night. I got arrested that night, but they let me go. That was scary. I want to get arrested in Mexico, dude. Fuck that. That was the last time I flew. Was that year is February 2001, and so that was before the 9/11 shindig. So I haven't flown since then. So I haven't flown since they have the new like fucking protocol getting on the plane. From what I hear, it's a real hassle. I mean, it was always kind of a hassle, but I guess they make you go through. They don't. It's not like a mandatory groping at the airport, is it? That's his song, "Lonely Blue Hotel on a Lonely Highway." Might have been. When I got back home from that trip, I went to my roommate's room to put on a CD, because he had a CD collection, and I grabbed it random, and I pulled out, and it was so random because he's like a death metal head guy. But I pulled out a Chris Isaac CD, of course. It was just like the coincidences kept coming. And it was his CD that was like Baja Sessions. I'm like, what the hell? Why did Chris Isaac keep following me? But I didn't listen to it. I was feeling kind of weirded out. I'm like, I don't want to listen to Chris Isaac. What's he doing in my head? It's kind of creepy. Get out of there. He's all singing his love songs, getting me all wooed. I was feeling all wooed. We'll woo you with love songs. He was the type of guy that would woo people. He'd be like, I never want to love again. I don't know how his song goes. Like, I don't want to fall in love with you. Poor guy. He must have had his heart just wrecked. He's like appearing in people's dreams. You broke my heart, my wife. I was like, what the fuck? That was a dream, dude. I can't be held accountable for things I do in my dreams. When AT&T rolled out their 5G, they put it everywhere and anyone can see. It's got the park, got the playground, radiating all around. At the local farm and drug, you'll see it up above. At the club, at the bar, wherever you are. If you look hard enough, you know you're gonna find the stuff we're swimming in. Do-do-do-do, we're swimming in it. Swimming in a sea of directed energy, thanks to AT&T and 5G. Gee, thanks. If you go to the store, you might see 3 or 4 at the police department. Out the window, your apartment. At the fire station, you can almost taste the radiation. Every city, every town out in the country. You bet your ass the place is lit the fuck up. Every street, every boulevard, every avenue. You'll see them at the museum, even see them at the zoo. There's nothing stopping you. Sometimes they wanna try to be a little more covert. They'll stick it in a flagpole, put it in the cross at church. Sometimes they really just wanna try to hide it, so they'll get creative and try to disguise it. They got those 5G evergreens, even get the 5G phones that look like a palm tree. Oh yeah, la 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 la, we're swimming in the we're swimming in the sea. Directed What's up, guys? What's up, man? I'm a rebel, a soul rebel. I'm a capturer, a soul adventurer. If you're not living good, I beg you travel wide, travel wide. Said I'm a living man, I said I'm a living man, and I've got work to do. If you're not happy, children, then you must be blue, you must be blue. People say I'm a rebel, I'm a rebel, I'm a solo rebel. I'm a capturer, capturer, a soul adventurer, soul adventurer. See the morning sun, see the morning sun on your side. If you're not living good, I beg you travel wide, travel wide. Said I'm a living man, said I'm a living man, and I've got work to do. If you're not happy, children, then you must be blue, you must be blue. People say I'm a rebel. I'm a soul rebel. I'm a capturer. I'm a capturer. I'm a soul adventurer. There's always somebody operating a power tool out here. Blower, drill, saws. I've seen so many saws. I've seen skill saws, sea saws, all kinds of saws. I've seen saw before. I've seen saw. I've seen a saw. I've seen a saw seahorse. I've seen a seahorse see a sawhorse. I saw a sawhorse. I seen a seahorse see me see. I seen a seahorse see a sawhorse. I saw a sawhorse see a sea. No, I sawed a seahorse in half. I seen a seahorse see a horse see. I seen a seahorse see a horse fly. You ever seen a horse fly? I hate them horse flies. They're all big and all buzzing around. I seen a seahorse eat a sea anemone. You see an enemy? You see an enemy? I seen a seahorse see a sawhorse. I seen a sea anemone. I seen a sea anemone eat a horse fly. Sea anemones, those are like those little things that are just like a mouth. What if those things were like massive? That'd be so scary. You got eaten by a sea anemone. That'd be fucked up. It's like size really matters. I mean, there wasn't ever a such thing as giants until us little people came along. Or maybe they weren't here first. I don't know. They're like these big angels came down from heaven and mated with our women. It's like, what? How did they do that? Sounds kind of crazy. They're really big. I thought they didn't have genitals. That sounds kind of horrifying. It came into the women, and then they had babies that were like giants. The Nephilim. The men of renown, they had like the fucking, the like the genes, the bloodline of people that would otherwise seem magic. They just had technology. No, it was like they were just further ahead in the timeline. They just know how to manipulate genes. Like, who designed this place, man? It's really well designed. I think about things like the analemma, the yearly path of the sun. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. What I want to do this project where it's like, when you have the analemma, it's like 365 dots in the sky. In the sky, where like, if you have a picture of a sky, like every day I'll go out at the same time when it's like noon or whatever, when the sun's in the sky, and I'll mark where it's at noon every day for a year. And then you end up with 365 dots that form a shape, and it's a shape called an analemma. And you're going to see the smaller loop. It's a figure eight on its side. You'll see a smaller loop in the like if you're in the north, you're going to see a smaller loop in the north and the bigger loop in the south. But if you're in the south and you do the analemma, you're going to see the smaller loop in the south and the bigger loop in the north. And I mean, the analemma is telling us so much about this place, about how the sun works. It's making that figure eight every year, and so it's like this, you know, at the equator when you do an analemma, it's going to be an infinity symbol. It's equal on both sides. Equator is equal. So if you were to think of the 365 days that, so it's like you have this figure eight, but each one of those dots, there's 365 dots that make the shape. So each one of those dots has a daily cycle attached to it. So if you could like somehow draw that cycle, I guess it would be in the shape of a circle or whatever. It's like so you have the analemma, but then you have 365 smaller circles going off at each dot. So you'd end up with this really interesting looking pattern. I want to see what it would look like. But it's like it kind of gives you the impression that whatever happens in the north is happening in the south. I mean, it's a figure eight, so it's the north and south. It's going around. It's like infinity at the equator. It's an infinity symbol. It tells you something about where we live. It's infinite. I mean, the cycle it's on, it's in the shape of an infinity symbol. The yin yang. The torus field. It's wild. I mean, it's like we live on a flat, planar Earth, but the sky is interpreted as the globe model of the sky. It's really profound. I mean, it's a pretty amazing creation as far as the model is concerned. I mean, because the analemma is location dependent. It's going to be a different version of that figure eight wherever you're at. And, and so it's like we're supposed to think the reason that there's seasons is because we're on a ball that's spinning around the sun. It's orbiting around the sun, but it's also spinning. So the orbit is a year, and then the spin is a day. But it's like, so if you're on a ball and it's spinning and it's facing something, but if it's not facing it, like if the spin, we're supposed to be tilted away from the sun. In the sense where our axis is creating a wobble, like when you tilt something, like if you try to think about like if you're spinning your basketball or whatever and it's tilted a little bit, it's going to wobble, as it's spinning. I mean, that's what we're supposed to be experiencing. I mean, that's just pretty wild. It's so gradual, you just don't notice. Man, that's crazy, dude. That's just crazy. It's crazy to accept that as fact when it's just more of like a model, a mathematical model of the sky, which, I mean, I understand Jeranism's point, which is like the flat Earth, that map that he was sold on, it doesn't work with what he's been able to show himself with the sun in the south. And that I'm willing to accept that, but like that doesn't mean the Earth isn't what it measurably is. I mean, it's like, we really have to like hold on there for a second there, buddy. It's like there's no upside down people. This is like a big story, dude. Then they try to come at you like, well, oh no, there isn't an upside down people. Well, dude, if you're on a ball, the people that are on the other end of the world, they're going to be upside down for me, and I'll be upside down from them, right? I mean, you have to at least accept the fact that, like, if we fell all the way through the Earth, we'd be flying out upside down. You have to admit that. They won't, though. It's so fucking weird. What? So you just don't want to admit reality, your reality that you think is reality? That sounds crazy. There's like planes flying upside down, swimming pools that are upside. When you think about it, it's like when you're told something as a kid and you're just like, it's told it's true and given these excuses to why it's true, even though it doesn't seem like it is. And you're just like, okay, well, you know more than me. I'm a kid and I'm just accepting. I want to know what, I'm just, you just believe it. It's like they could tell you it was magic and you'd believe it. I mean, it might as well be. It's like people don't fall off the ball or see the ball spinning or curving, or it's because it's magic. Oh, okay. That would make just as much sense. And so, like, when you get older and then you're forced to look at it again, you're like, well, no, it's just true, No, it's true because it is. I mean, because it's not flat. It's like the kind of. Well, why would anybody think that it's flat? It's like, well, just because it is. I mean, we've just been told that it's a ball. Remember, like we were told that before we ever were given any kind of critical thinking skills, or before we ever thought about like questioning authority or like wondering if we're being, like we were just naive little kids, and our parents and everybody believed it already. So it wasn't like, you know, nobody would have thought that we did question it though. How come nobody falls off the ball? Like, well, because of magic. How come we don't feel like spinning? Well, because it's so slow. Well, once a day, I don't know. How come we don't feel or I can detect any motion? Well, because it's so slow. I don't know if that's a good enough excuse. Can we hover in a helicopter there for a day and have the whole Earth turn around it? Have it be nighttime and have it be in a different place when we land it. That should make sense, right? Because we're just going to hover there and the Earth will turn underneath us and then we'll land in a different place and we'll just been hovering in the same spot all day. I mean, if it's slow, whatever, but like we're just going to stay low or stay put and the Earth should rotate underneath us and then we can prove it's moving, right? No, because you're going to be moving with the Earth when you go up in the air, and you're just going to be moving along with the Earth at the same speed, even though we're not accelerating. No, because your whole thing, the whole frame of reference, you're just going to be hovering above a thing that was you're moving that fast. So it's like, so our 0 miles per hour is actually whatever speed the Earth is moving, technically. Or either that, or we're just hovering above a stationary. One or the other. I mean, whatever you want to think. Okay. Like you kind of have to get outside the frame of reference to really make that argument, especially if you can't be detected or you can't hover above the ground and have it move underneath you. You can't come at me with be like, oh, the Foucault pendulum proves the Earth is moving. No, because we can't separate from the motion, remember? How's it going to do that then? It doesn't make sense, dude. Your inconsistent logic kind of makes me wonder about the whole thing. Oh, well, the Foucault pendulum is a different mechanism. Well, what? I mean, what is it doing? You're claiming that it's separating from the motion of Earth and showing the motion by where it's moving, or it's just moving. I don't know. I mean, what do you want to? I mean, we can't separate from the motion of the Earth any other time. I mean, why is it able to do that? What makes it any different? I mean, what the fuck? I haven't had a good explanation as to what the fuck's actually going on with all that. Sounds like a bunch of hoo-ha. Bunch of hoo-ha. People believe it and they want to argue about it all day long. I don't believe it, and I'll argue about it all day long. No, not all day. It's part of the day. But like your inconsistent logic sucks. You argue for things that you can't verify yourself. That also sucks. Because you're going to ask me to take somebody's word for it. I don't want to do that. You're always going to hit a point where, in the globe argument, you're always going to reach a point where you got to accept somebody else's. You got to trust that they measured the distance to the sun with radar or whatever. Even though that sounds pretty ridiculous. But that's what they claim they did. And the moon, I mean, it's like that's really what they found. They shot radar at the moon and it was 237 miles, 1,000 miles from here. Okay. I still don't trust it because I didn't see a measurement done. I mean, do you guys trust that? It's possible, I guess. Personally, I think the moon is an old sun. I'm waiting for this guy to stop blowing. It's so annoying. It's the middle of the winter, dude. Just let the leaves sit. Stop. finally. Man, he strikes again. See, because there was a flat Earth map that was debunked, that's all it should have been. That should have been what it was all about, really. I mean, why go back to the globe so easily? Mm. That's assuming that we know everything about the sky and like huge, vast stretches of Earth. I mean, I don't think it's that easy. I don't think you can just make a model of the sky and then have it be that be because we can't go to the sky and verify all that shit, all the distances and all the motions that are supposedly taking place. And it's just whatever. It's like we live in a place that's been created. I mean, it's just too perfect. This is not the result of like random happenstance. Sure, there is random happenstance happening in this dance, or is there? Everything is synchronized so well. It's so silly to think of the miracle of life as like as being just a random quirk of nature or something. It's like about energy or something. I mean, what is it really about? It's like energetic beings inhabiting a physical body. I guess energy isn't really a physical thing, is it? Where does energy come from? Electricity comes from magnets or from magnets, I guess, yeah. Magnetism, where does magnetism come from? It's just like the law of nature, man. Like, I like thinking about the whole uprising Earth bit because it seems like it really pushes the envelope as far as like trying to understand reality. Like it's going for broke with that shit. Because I mean, really, how do you create a pressure gradient? Like, what do we know about pressure gradients? How do you, like we live in one, but how can you create a pressure gradient by using an acceleration? You have to accelerate a reference frame in a direction, and you will create a pressure gradient based on where you're accelerating that reference frame. Like if it was like a box or something, here's the reference frame. Everything inside this box is going to be subject to the acceleration that the force that I'm going to exert on this reference frame. Everything in there is going to be subject to the new conditions of the environment that it's in. There's going to be a force applied, an acceleration, and everything within that reference frame is now going to organize in a specific way every time because it's always going to be the same thing. The more dense stuff is going to be pushed up against from where the force is coming from. You know, I'm going to push it this way, so all the dense stuff inside that box is going to be pushed up against my hand. It goes the direction where the force is coming from. And then all the buoyant stuff in that box is going to be pushed the opposite direction. It's going to displace away the direction that the force is coming from, while the dense stuff is going the other way. So that's just one way of looking at like a density gradient. That's how you create one by adding a force to a reference frame, an acceleration. Everything organizes in a specific way when subjected to an acceleration. Everything dense is pushed against where the direction the force is going. You step on your gas pedal, you're pushed into your seat. The force is coming from behind you. It's pushing you forward. In that instance, if you had a helium balloon in the car, it would go forward towards the windshield while you're getting pushed into your seat. The acceleration is happening. It's pushing you forward. You're getting pulled towards the direction the force is coming from. The buoyant balloon is going in the direction with the same. It's going the opposite way. It's going with the force. And that's if you just take that example with the car and just turn it like that with the back of the car on the ground and the windshield in the sky, you can see what I'm saying about like the uprising Earth. It's like if there was a force being applied here, it would create a density gradient, and the dense things would be held in the direction where the force is coming from, and the buoyant stuff would go that direction, away the direction the force is coming from, acceleration. So with what we know about reference frames and force and acceleration and what that does to a reference frame, we could be led to believe that the force that's accelerating here is actually coming from underneath us, the contact force, and they call it the normal force in physics. It's a sore subject for most flat earthers, because it's like, oh, there's no motion going on here. Relax, dude. We're just talking about the conditions that have been set for our reality to work the way it does. I can't really rightfully say that the whole Earth is accelerating, but that's what we know about. You know, a pressure gradient is like the acceleration. When there's an acceleration occurring, a pressure gradient will form, and it's exactly like we have. And if that was the case, if this whole entire reality it was a reference frame, with a pressure gradient, we if what we know about physics and acceleration and frames of reference and like all the stuff that I explained, you could be led to believe that the force is coming from underneath you that's creating this situation that we call gravity or whatever. Because you can't really make the claim that things are accelerating to the Earth. It does look like that's what they are when they're not being supported or whatever, and they're displacing towards the Earth. It's like they're accelerating at 9.8 meters squared per second towards the Earth. That's from our reference frame. That's what it looks like it's doing. That's what it's doing. But like if you try to measure that acceleration with an accelerometer, you're not going to get a reading. It's going to show that it's at rest. The accelerometer is always going to show you where it's being accelerated from. Anytime you accelerate in any direction, it's always going to be accurate because there's a weight inside of it that pushes against the sensor. So whenever you push the accelerometer, it triggers the sensor because the weight inside of it pushes against a little contact, and it shows you where the force is acting on it from. So it's always going to be accurate. The thing doesn't ever give you a wrong answer. But like when it's in free fall, it shows you that there's no force acting on it. While it appears to be accelerating to the Earth, if you look at the reading on it, it's showing you that it's at rest. It's not getting any force acting on it. It's saying I'm not accelerating. It's saying I'm at rest. Then when it hits the Earth, the weight inside that thing is going to hit the bottom trigger, and it's going to give a reading of an upwards acceleration. They call that contact force or normal force. I mean, it's understood in physics, but it kind of just gets swept aside because we know Earth is a globe, and it couldn't be accelerating upwards because then the Earth would blow up. Okay, we're just talking like such a large scale like stuff. It's hard to know like what's going on outside this reference frame, but when you really have to just be honest about the physics and about like a pressure gradient and all that kind of stuff, it's like we do know how to demonstrate a pressure gradient with an acceleration added on a reference frame. I can create a pressure gradient that's similar to what we experience when I add an acceleration to a reference frame. It can be demonstrated. So that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that we're accelerating. I mean, I'm saying that's what we can demonstrate, that something similar to that. But it's like you have to leave the reference frame to really prove that it's going anywhere. I guess. I mean, the stuff that we've accepted as being true for so long, for most of our lives, it's like when you think about it, it's like, well, how do we? The stars look the same as they always did. Like we're flying through space all haphazardly, all these crazy speeds and everything. It's just all in the same place for all recorded history. That doesn't sound right to me, man. I'm sorry. I could try to explain that away with great distances, but like if that's the case, then what the fuck? Who cares? It's just like it's so vast that it's at this point. It's like, well, why even talk about it? It's like, I mean, if it's that vast, I mean, there's no grasping how far away anything is at that point. It's just like, well, whatever. Why are we even talking about it? It just doesn't even seem right, though. I mean, it's like you can say that, but doesn't look like what we're experiencing at all. Corkscrewing through the galaxy and the universe and the solar systems and the planets and the black holes and the meteors and the fucking space debris, suns and stars and supernovas and quasars and galaxies forming and black holes, space probes and Uranus. We're going to send a space probe into Uranus, and we're going to release a payload. We're going to study this black hole that we found in Uranus. Is that cool with you? Sure. Sure you are. You guys lie. The more money you shovel at NASA, the more rinky dink they get. It almost appears to be low budget. But $80 million a day, it's a lot of money to pay to get such a cheesy presentation of their International Space Station. And they do their spacewalks. I think they're in a swimming pool on Earth when I see those bubbles in space. Bubbles in space. They got a lot of hairspray. You gotta use a lot of hairspray to make your hair look that way. Like it's a low G environment. Well, there goes a governmental military jet plane. Oh, it's a plane with little propellers. Oh, it's a jet. It's a jet airplane flying over a non-rotating stationary plane. It's level, it's not curving. You heard me correctly. You can't measure curvature or motion to any meaningful degree whatsoever. So, without an ability to measure these two things with any consistent sort of empirical, like scientifically proven proof, you can't you can't find the curvature with any consistent sort of in any meaningful way. It can't be measured, and neither can the motion. So, if neither one of these two main facets to the model can't be measured, well, you still have some problems. You know, I'm sorry if you feel so confident about it. It's like because of what the sun's doing, and I get it. All right, it's cool. But I don't feel like it's been proven. I mean, it's just a mathematics, man. It's not proof. You need to actually show it to me for me to believe it now. Because I realize, like, nobody has any extra information, experience, or this is all we're all working. This is what we're experiencing. I mean, it's like nobody's seeing any globe. That nobody does that. They all see what we see, and we all see the same shit. Nobody has any extra experience to draw from. It's just this, what we've all been experiencing, which is a level, our stationary realm. We've all been experiencing it this whole time. Nobody's ever seen a ball spinning in space. That's all on the TV screen. And we've just been so thoroughly indoctrinated. I mean, without having that put in our mind. I mean, maybe watching the sunset, you might consider like, well, is it going underneath us? But like, I would think that you would come to your senses before you ever settle on that conclusion as being that must be what's happening, or maybe it's moving further away. That way there's nobody upside down and because that's crazy. But maybe there could be a magic force that holds everybody on, and so they feel like they're right side up, like everybody's on the top of the ball all at once. Well, that doesn't make sense, but okay. You can try that if you want. You never know what might stick. We don't see anything like that in real life, though. No, this would be that. But you can't demonstrate it. Well, I can with math and my theories. Dude, give me a break. This is a blue hotel on the highway out there. It's got the blues. The hotel is so blue. passed along the stairs. Spoken was aware, although I wasn't there. I said I was his friend, which came as a surprise. I spoke into his eyes. I thought you died alone a long time ago. Oh no, not me. I never lost control. Your face to face with the man who sold the world. I laughed at your descent, made my way back home, searched on foreign lands. Years and years I roamed, gaze to gazer still, the multi-millionaires. I must have died alone a long, long time ago. Oh no, not me. I never lost control. Hey, baby. Your face to face with the man who sold the world. Oh no, not me. I never lost control. Your face to face with the man who sold the world. Well, I taught that weeping willow how to cry, cry, cry. Taught the clouds how to cover a clear blue sky. Tears I cry for the woman who's gonna flood you like a river. I'm gonna sit right here until I die. Well, I met her accidentally in St. Paul, Minnesota. She tore me up every time I heard her draw that southern drawl. I heard my drink went back downstream, Fort Davenport. Followed you, Red River, when you called. Well, I taught that weeping willow how to cry, 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 cry. I thought the clouds had a cover up a clear blue sky. The tears I cry for the woman gonna flood you, Red River. I'm gonna sit right here until I die. Well, I followed down to St. Louis, later on down the river. A freighter said she'd been here, but she's gone, boy, she's gone. Followed down to Memphis, but she just walked off the bluff. raised a few eyebrows as she went on down alone. Well, I taught that weeping willow how to cry, cry, cry. I taught clouds how to cover a clear blue sky. Well, the tears I cried for that woman, I'm gonna flood you, big river. I'm gonna sit right here until I die. Whew. Well, down on down to Baton Rouge as the Queen River rolled on. Take that woman down to New Orleans, New Orleans. I give up, I had enough to get my blues on down to the Gulf. She loves you, big river, more than me. Well, I taught that weeping willow how to cry, cry, cry. Taught the clouds how to cover up the clear blue sky. A tears I cried for the woman, I'm gonna flood you, big river. And I'm gonna sit right here until I die. This shit's falling apart. My G string is coming unwound. Personal thing. Ah, sucks, dude. What crap. This never used to happen back in the day. I don't have fucking strings coming unwound like this. Fucking hassle. That sucks. Alright, show's over. Alright. I'll be back on later. Thanks for watching.